Now this woman sleeps with the whole team, or at least a few of them anyway. The thing about police officers, you may not, some jurisdictions it may not pay that much money, but being a police officer can help you in other careers. It can lead to other higher paying jobs if your jurisdiction or your county or district doesn't pay that much. But it can lead to other things. Really can.
Conduct rocked the Laverne Police Department. 5 officers and the police chief all fired.
One of those officers, Megan Hall, became the face of the scandal and the target of nationwide ridicule, and she's now filed a federal lawsuit.
I received harassing and threatening messages on my phone daily. I felt like I'd been terrorized.
Over the past few months, there has been a lot of buzz on the internet about a scandal involving Megan Hall, a 26-year-old police officer from Tennessee. Megan, who works as a rookie patrol officer in a small police department in Laverne, Tennessee, has gained unexpected fame, but not for the right reasons. So what exactly happened, and how has she become an overnight media sensation? Megan Hall, a 26-year-old woman from rural Tennessee, had a childhood that many would consider ideal. She had aspirations of becoming an actress, but life had different plans for her. Fate brought her together with Jedediah Hall, the son of a local pastor, and they got married in 2018. Putting their acting dreams on hold, Megan made the decision to join the Laverne Police Department in her local community.
Megan Hall was 24 years old when she was hired as an officer here at the Laverne Police Department 2 years ago. Her plan was to have a career in law enforcement. She now knows that dream is likely over.
In the midst of all this, Megan's husband, Jed, found employment as a park ranger, and their outward appearances suggested a perfect life together. Their photos showcased radiant smiles and a deep love for each other. However, appearances can be deceiving. Recently, Megan disclosed that she and Jed were grappling with serious marital issues, which eventually triggered a chain of events. The turmoil in their relationship led Megan to seek solace in her job, but unfortunately, she also became involved in some questionable activities. She engaged in intimate encounters with her colleagues within the police department. The individuals implicated in these incidents were patrol officers Juan Lugo Perez, Lewis Powell, Detective Seneca Shields, and Sergeant Henry Ty McGowan. All of them, including Megan, were dismissed from their positions. Following the investigation, 3 other officers, Patrick Magliacco, Larry Holliday, and Gavin Showborough, were suspended.
Dang. 6? She slept with 6 people? Whoa! I mean, hold on. Let's wait before we just jump into this thing. But alleging that she slept with 6 people? God. Wow. I would need proof. You need some proof. Okay, allegation. Now I need proof. I need some type of proof. Some type of proof of texting. Some type of proof of an engagement. More than just work related. That's what I would need. I definitely would need that. I mean, which I know they did because they're a police thing. So it must be somewhat true. They must file evidence. That's what I would give them credit. These are police officers inside a police unit. They know how to get through people's phones and social medias and find stuff that you deleted. They know how to find stuff that you deleted. So I mean, this is questionable. All this is very questionable. This one woman slept with 6 of these men, and while these 6 men even engaging her at the job, it's crazy.
Given the extent of their wild escapades, it was only a matter of time before the entire world would become aware of the situation.
You guys are going to pay me because I was sleeping with your police officers, and I'm a woman, and I'm a piece of meat, and I'm hot, and I'm sexy. Said nobody ever but me and my lawyer.
However, what exactly triggered the sequence of events? It all began on December 12th, 2022, when the police department received a complaint. Surprisingly, it was the mayor of Laverne, Jason Cole, who discovered, through a whistleblower, that something deeply troubling was happening within the local police department. The mayor received information that Megan Hill, one of the officers, was engaged in multiple romantic relationships with her fellow colleagues.
It's a sex scandal going on in this police department.
These relationships didn't just occur during the officers' personal time in hotels, motels, and boat parties, but also while they were supposed to be fulfilling their duty of serving and protecting the community.
I remember while interviewing for the position at Laverne Police Department, they described the environment as a family. However, while I was aspiring to protect my community, the Laverne Police Department was not protecting me.
The investigation into this scandal was conducted by Andrew Patton, the head of human resources at the Laverne Police Department, and it uncovered some astonishing revelations. Megan and Jed's relationship was far from ideal. Just before the scandal erupted, the couple was on the brink of divorce and attempting to resolve their problems. Prior to the scandal, Megan had even misled her colleagues in the department, making them believe that she and her husband had an open relationship. However, this turned out to be false information.
Hired as an officer here at the Laverne Police Department 2 years ago. Her plan was to have a career in law enforcement.
Just before joining the police force, Hall had a meeting with Officer McGowan at his house, who happened to be the original whistleblower who informed the mayor. Hall went to McGowan's place with her husband Jed, but things quickly escalated out of control. At McGowan's house, Hall and the officer's wife decided to play a game of strip Uno and ended up removing their clothes. Hall was attempting to convince her husband Jed to engage in a three-way situation, but he strongly objected and was understandably upset by the whole situation. Nevertheless, it was reported that Hall and McGowan engaged in kissing, and the officer even shared explicit pictures of himself with Hall. Interestingly, the whistleblower himself, McGowan, found himself in trouble. Despite the overwhelming evidence, McGowan denied having any affairs with Hall. Consequently, he was fired from his job for lying during the investigation. Another officer involved.
They must have had proof. I'm sorry. At this waiting game, they had proof. Now this is where I'm going to get a police credit. They probably had proof that he was lying. Remember, when you delete something, that don't mean necessarily they can't find it.
Patrick Magliacco admitted to having multiple encounters with Hall. He disclosed that after learning about Hall's open marriage, both he and his wife, Amy, engaged in intimate activities with the female police officer. During the investigation, Magliacco revealed that he and his wife had been in an open relationship.
Well, look at him. He looks suspect. He looked the type. He looked that type anyway. I'm sorry. Look at him. That's a given.
With Hall since the spring of 2022. This incident serves as yet another example of Hall attempting to involve her husband in activities he was not comfortable with. What actually happened was that Jedediah walked in on his wife, Megan, passionately kissing Amy. Once their secret was exposed, they attempted to involve Jedediah in a wife-swapping situation, but he adamantly refused, feeling uncomfortable and disturbed by the whole ordeal. It's understandable that anyone would find such a proposition difficult to accept. However, the most outrageous events in this entire story occurred at a boathouse during Memorial Day. All the officers from the police department were invited to a Girls Gone Wild hot tub party hosted by an officer named Stats on his boat. The officers brought their partners and even some of their children along. During the party, an incident unfolded where Magliacco forcefully poured vodka down Hall's throat while they were in the hot tub. It was at this moment that Hall suddenly decided to remove her top. According to another officer named Durham, Stats quickly intervened, preventing Hall from consuming more alcohol and discreetly covering her up to protect her. Both Durham and Stats claimed that they had never engaged in any inappropriate behavior with Hall. In a heavily intoxicated state, Hall even fell down a flight of stairs at the party before eventually having sexual relations with Magliacco.
Okay, well, this setting this whole environment up is questionable just from setting it up. This from the setup. This being in that environment can question what did you do in this type of environment. This type of environment shows of a sexual, like, it's like being a stripper. Even if you're not having sex, people assume that you're having sex with men for money, even if you're just stripping. You're in a bad and you're in a terrible environment. They just going to assume that this went on. And look at him. He like to type, oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, come on. I see that easily.
During the investigation, Magliocco expressed concerns about Megan's mental well-being. He disclosed to investigators that Hall had a strong inclination towards excessive drinking, and there was an instance when she drove home while under the influence after a party at his house. Magliocco also discussed Hall's tendency to express thoughts of self-harm and her statements about not wanting to be alone. According to the officer, Hall once pointed an empty gun at her own head and pulled the trigger just to hear the sound it made. As Megan Hall's behavior unraveled, investigators discovered her involvement in steamy encounters with her superiors, particularly Sergeant Lewis Powell, who was also implicated by Magliocco. Magliocco informed investigators about Hall boasting to him about Powell's genitalia. Megan disclosed to Magliocco that she had engaged in oral sex with Powell while on duty. Her affair with Powell lasted for months, with the sergeant developing a strong infatuation for Hall. However, Powell was not keen on taking the relationship further and made multiple attempts to end it. Megan shared in her subsequent interviews with investigators that Powell even threatened to commit suicide when she tried to break things off between them. Initially, Powell, who was married, vehemently denied having any involvement with Hall on several occasions.
Married? Oh my God. Whew. This is a mess. This is a mess. Talk about a mess. Woo. This is a mess.
He attempted to shift the blame onto Hall, claiming that it was well known she had multiple partners. However, realizing that there was no way to avoid the truth, Powell eventually confessed. Another officer in the department, Detective Seneca Shields, initially denied any relationship with Hall as well. However, under continued pressure from investigators, Shields eventually admitted that they had engaged in oral sex in the department's weight room while they were supposed to be on duty. However, one affair that Megan Hall didn't bother to conceal.
Wow. Jesus, they admitted, so she really did sleep with the team. God, Jesus Christ. Plus, they got phone records. I know they got phone records.
Was her involvement with K-9 officer Larry Holliday. Megan openly admitted to the relationship during her initial interview. She stated that her interactions with Holliday occurred quite some time ago. When questioned by investigators about his relationship with Hall, Holliday mentioned that he had once invited Hall and other officers to his home for a football watching session, which involved heavy drinking. According to the report, there were discussions about a potential threesome involving Hall, Holliday, and Holliday's ex-partner. However, Holliday claims that nothing of that nature took place during the party. Subsequently, Holliday eventually confessed to engaging in sexual relations with Hall on multiple occasions, noting that they would meet in hotel rooms for their encounters. During the investigation, Hall initially denied having any inappropriate affairs with her colleagues in the department, except for Holliday. However, she did admit to sending explicit images to other officers while on duty, including Holliday, Magliocco, and Officer Showborough. The report also stated that she sent foot pictures to Tim McGowan, claiming that he had a foot fetish and frequently...
Oh my God. Oh. Oh my God. This is wow. This goes deep and deep and deep and deep. Remember, this is the police department. So, and on their behalf, they probably got proof. Okay, remember, if you delete a text message, they probably gonna check all your social medias. Remember, Instagram, your Facebook, all your apps that you may use to communicate with somebody on. They can check all that. They can check all that information. So this information is probably 70% true. This information is probably more than halfway true, in my basically, because they know how to do research. It's just what it is. They not dummy when they know how to investigate something.
Requested such images from her. Additionally, her final affair was with Juan Lugo. Initially, Lugo denied any involvement in inappropriate acts with Hall. However, when Hall confessed to their affair, Lugo was compelled to admit his participation. The two met at a hotel after partying all night with their fellow officers at a go-go Go Fund USA event.
Hall concedes she participated under duress. She's not saying she was raped, but adds that the salacious details made public of sex on the job put her alone center stage and do not tell the whole story.
As a result of the extensive investigation into the scandal, it came as no surprise that Hall was dismissed from her position within the police department. Lugo, Powell, Shields, and McGowan faced the same consequence due to their violations of police procedures and their dishonesty during the investigation. Holliday, on the other hand, was suspended from his position for being honest and forthcoming during the inquiry, alongside Magliocco and Showborough. The aftermath of this scandal and the subsequent terminations led to a significant loss of 12% of the Laverne Police Department's total personnel. Following the incident, Hall has recently spoken out and claimed that she felt subjected to sexual grooming by her superiors. This statement was made as part of a federal civil rights case that was filed. According to Hall's lawyer, Wesley Clark, she alleges that her peers took advantage of her and exploited her due to her struggles with mental health and her troubled marriage.
Oh, of course they're going to put mental health on it. Of course they're going to put mental health on it. So you sleep with 6 people. So you sleep with, like, goddamn. So you have sexual relationship with multiple people? God, in the police force? Baby, this go back on you. I'm sorry. Now this go back on you. Talk about you get around. God. I hate to say it at this point in the game when it comes to law enforcement, your name is famous for the wrong reason. Ain't nobody gonna hire you now. Your name is famous for the wrong reasons.
That as a piece of meat to be sexualized and exploited.
I know what most people are saying. You know, you could have said no. I get it. But my response to them is that I did say no.
As the case progresses, Burrell Chip Davis, the police chief of Laverne, has also been dismissed from his position. An independent investigator revealed that Davis was aware of Hall's involvement with her fellow officers, but instead of taking appropriate action, he attempted to further conceal the situation. However, amidst the turmoil, the true victim in this entire ordeal is Hall's husband, Jedediah. Despite the challenges he has faced, Jedediah is choosing to support his wife and work on resolving their marital issues. Coffee County Sheriff Chad Parton, who is Jedediah's boss, expressed his admiration, saying, "I don't know how he's managing it. He's showing more strength than I have, but he's determined to salvage his marriage."
Who do you even turn to when the chief of police is sexually harassing you? How could I get justice when the entire system, including the...
Man, it's somebody on top of him. I'm sorry, yeah, it's somebody on top of him because he got ousted. Okay, because he got let go. It's somebody on top of him. She know that. Don't try to use that excuse. Oh, I don't know who to go to. I don't know where to go. You know where to go to. And this is just too much, baby. It's over with. She know where to go. She know what to do. She ain't have to say yes to all these men. Please. Sleep with the whole team? Man, nah. You at fault now. Not 1 or 2 people, but like 6 people, including upper management too. And remember, this is the police force. So they're not letting you go without doing research, checking records, phone records, social media records. Where was you at when this happened? Where was you at when this happened? They're checking records to prove the substantial of this case. They know what they're doing. They know how to do that type of stuff. Come on, obviously. That's the given.